The notification came through while they were at Dave and Buster's. I heard it through the phone, the arcade noise, the fake celebratory cheer, someone yelling about high scores. My sister's voice, bright and champagne loose, cut through the background static. Yeah, she says she's some kind of officer now. I don't know. She exaggerates. I was sitting in the base hospital discharge waiting area when I heard it. Someone had tagged me in her Instagram story. The caption read, "Family night. Celebrating people who actually show up, party popper, #real ones, #sister time." The photo showed my parents, my sister Mallory, her fiancé, and my younger brother crowded into a booth. Everyone was smiling. My chair, the one they'd promised to save, was tucked in, empty, a jacket draped over it like I'd just left. Except I hadn't left. I'd never been invited. I sat there for 3 seconds. Maybe 4. The vinyl chair squeaked under me. Someone's pager went off down the hall. The fluorescent lights hummed in that specific frequency that drills into your skull after hour 6. Then I opened my banking app and removed my father as an authorized user. The confirmation screen glowed. Access revoked. Changes take effect immediately. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel anything yet. That was the moment everything changed, whether my family was ready or not. The discharge paperwork smelled like industrial printer toner and hand sanitizer. I'd been at Naval Hospital Camp Pendleton for 8 hours. Not for anything dramatic, a routine follow-up after a training injury that had aggravated an old fracture. They'd cleared me, updated my records, adjusted my duty status for 2 weeks, then sent me to wait while the admin staff processed the release forms. I'd texted my family that morning. Group chat. Told them I'd be at the hospital most of the day but should be out by dinner. Asked if we could do a video call later. Mallory had hearted the message. No one replied. I could hear the ocean from where I sat, faint and rhythmic through the double doors. Late September in Southern California meant the air still carried that dry heat, even at 1900 hours. My uniform was folded in my bag. I was in civvies, gray-based t-shirt, athletic pants, slides. My shoulder ached in the hollow, nagging way that meant I'd need ice tonight. I'd been the reliable one for so long I couldn't remember what it felt like to be anything else. When I was 16, my mother called me her little Marine because I kept lists and didn't complain. When I actually joined the Navy at 18, she stopped using the nickname. It was like I'd taken the metaphor too literally and ruined it. By the time I made Lieutenant Junior grade at 25, my rank had become something they corrected in conversations with strangers. She's in the Navy. Enlisted. She does administrative stuff, I think. She's very busy. We don't see her much. The truth was simpler and more boring. I'd gone to college on ROTC scholarship, commissioned as an officer, worked my way through surface warfare qualifications, deployed twice, and now served as a division officer aboard a destroyer home port in San Diego. I managed 43 sailors. I stood watch. I signed for equipment worth millions of dollars. But none of that fit the story they liked to tell. So they'd just rewritten it. I scrolled back through the Instagram story. Mallory had posted 6 slides. The first was a boomerang of cocktails clinking. The second was the group photo. The third was my father laughing, arm around Mallory, with the caption, "Dad jokes hit different when you're his favorite face with tears of joy." The fourth was a close-up of her engagement ring. The fifth was her fiancé kissing her cheek. The sixth was a video. 10 seconds. My mother's voice, slightly slurred, "We're so proud of you, sweetheart. You've worked so hard." Not me. Mallory. Mallory, who'd graduated with a communications degree and worked part-time at a dental office. Mallory, who still lived in my parents' house, who drove the car they paid for, who had her credit card linked to their account. Mallory, who I loved. Mallory, who had never once asked me what my job actually was. I took a screenshot. Saved it to a folder I'd started 3 months ago called Documentation. Then I turned my phone over and waited for my name to be called. The real fracture had started the previous winter. I'd been home on leave. 2 weeks over Christmas. My first time back in 10 months. I'd landed in Ontario, rented a car, driven the 70 minutes to Riverside in the dark. I'd stopped at In-N-Out on the way because I knew they wouldn't have dinner saved. They never did. I ordered a double-double, ate it in the parking lot, watched the headlights streak past on the freeway, and tried to convince myself I was excited to be home. When I walked in, my mother was on the couch watching HGTV. She glanced up. Oh, you're here. We didn't hear you pull in. She didn't get up. My father was in the garage. I found him an hour later, organizing paint cans. He hugged me, smelling like motor oil and Old Spice, and asked how the drive was. Fine, I said. Good, good. Mallory's out with friends. She'll be back later. That was it. No, we missed you. No, tell us about deployment. No, how's your shoulder healing? Just logistics. I stayed in my old room. Mallory had taken over half the closet. Her makeup was scattered across my desk. There was a pile of laundry on my bed. I moved it to the floor and didn't say anything. That was the trip where I started noticing the pattern. Every conversation circled back to Mallory. Her job. Her boyfriend. Her wedding planning. Her apartment search. Her student loans. When I mentioned my promotion to O2, my father nodded absently and said, "That's great, kiddo. Hey, do you think you could help us out with something?" The something was a cosign. Mallory and her fiancé wanted to lease a newer apartment, but their credit wasn't strong enough. My father asked if I'd be willing to put my name on the application, just as a backup. Just in case. You have that steady paycheck, he said. It would really help them out. I said I'd think about it. I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either. And that was the first mistake. The nurse called my name at 1943. I signed the last form, took my copy of the discharge summary, and walked out into the cooling evening. The sky was that specific burnt orange that only happens near the coast, and the palm trees looked fake against it, like a postcard. I sat in my car for 5 minutes before I checked my phone again. 7 missed calls. My father. My mother. Mallory. My father again. Unknown number. My father. Mallory. No voicemails. I opened the group chat. Dad, call me when you get this. Dad, serious. Call now. Mom, we need to talk to you about something important. Mallory, why is your phone off? Mallory, Dad is freaking out. I hadn't turned my phone off. I'd just been in a building with bad reception. I stared at the messages. The timestamps ran from 1810 to 1920. Over an hour of escalating panic. Not one of them had asked if I was okay. I almost called. My thumb hovered over my father's contact. Then I saw the notification preview from my bank app. Unusual account activity detected. A transfer of $4,200 was initiated at 5:47 p.m. I opened it. The transfer had been reversed. Flagged. Blocked. But someone had tried. Someone with authorized access. I checked the routing number. It matched my parents' joint account. And, just like that, I understood. I didn't go home that night. I checked into a base lodge room. $32. Clean sheets. A window that faced the parking lot. I sat on the bed with my laptop open and started downloading statements. 6 months of banking records. 12 months of credit monitoring. Every text message I'd saved. Every email. By 2200, I had a timeline. March, $1,200 transferred from my account to theirs. Memo line, family emergency. I'd authorized that one. My mother said Mallory needed help with a medical bill. I'd sent it same day. April, $800. Memo, loan repay. I didn't remember that one. May, $950. Memo, household. June, $1,100. Memo, blank. July, $1,400. Memo, MG wedding fund. MG, Mallory Grace. August, $2,000. Memo, urgent. I opened my email. Searched account authorization. Found the form I'd signed 2 years ago when I'd first commissioned. My father had asked me to add him just in case something happened while I was deployed. For emergencies. So he could access funds if I was out of contact. I'd signed it because it seemed reasonable. Because I trusted him. Because I was 23 and still believed family meant safety. I added up the transfers. $7,450. In 6 months. None of it discussed. None of it asked. Just taken. I took screenshots of everything. Saved them in 3 places: cloud, external drive, encrypted folder. Then I wrote down every time they'd minimized my job, dismissed my rank, or told me I was too sensitive when I tried to set boundaries. January, last year, I told my mother I couldn't co-sign for Mallory. She said, "I thought you cared about your sister." April, I mentioned I was working on qualifications for department head. My father said, "That's nice, hon," and changed the subject to Mallory's engagement photos. June, I flew home for Mallory's engagement party. I paid for my own flight. No one reimbursed me. My mother told me I looked tired and should smile more in pictures. August, I called to tell them I'd been selected for a competitive training pipeline. My father said, "That's great. Hey, can you talk to Mallory? She's stressed about the wedding budget." I stared at the list. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a system. I didn't sleep. At 0600, I went to the base gym, ran 4 miles, showered, and put on my uniform. Pressed, creased, ribbons aligned, cover squared. At 0800, I walked into Navy Federal Credit Union. The representative was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense posture. I sat across from her and said, "I need to remove an authorized user and set up fraud alerts." She nodded, pulled up my account, typed, "Can I ask why?" "Unauthorized transfers. Family member." Her expression didn't change, but her typing got faster. "We can flag this. Document the pattern. If you want to pursue it legally." "Not yet," I said. "I just need to lock it down." She walked me through it. Removed my father's access. Set up 2-factor authentication. Changed all my security questions. Enabled withdrawal alerts for anything over $50. "Is there anything else you need to protect?" she asked. I thought about it. "Can you check if my name is on any loans I didn't open?" She typed for 90 seconds. Then her face did change. "You're listed as a cosigner on an auto loan. Opened 5 months ago. $23,000 balance." The room tilted. "What kind of car?" She squinted at the screen. 2022 Honda CR-V. Mallory's car. The one she'd posted about in July. The one she said her fiancé's parents had helped them buy. "Am I liable?" I asked. "If they default, yes." I thanked her. Walked outside. Stood in the sun until my breathing evened out. Then I called the legal assistance office on base and made an appointment with a JAG attorney. That was the point of no return. My phone rang at 10:34. My father. I let it go to voicemail. He called again at 10:41. Again at 10:49. At 11:03, my mother texted, "Your father is very upset. You need to call him back. This is childish." I turned my phone to Do Not Disturb and went to my meeting. The JAG attorney was a lieutenant commander with sharp eyes and a patient voice. I laid it all out. Showed him the transfers. The cosign. The loan I hadn't known about. He took notes in silence. When I finished, he sat back. "You have a few options. First, document everything. You've already started. Good. Second, you can file a fraud report with the bank, but that means potential criminal charges. Third, you can demand repayment and remove yourself from financial entanglement. Fourth, you can walk away and cut contact. What do most people do? Depends on whether they want a relationship with their family afterward." I looked at my hands. My nails were trim and unpolished. I'd bitten the cuticle on my thumb without realizing it. What if I don't know what I want yet? Then start with boundaries. Clear, documented, non-negotiable. Give them a chance to respond. See what they choose. I nodded. He slid a packet across the desk. Sample templates. Cease and desist for financial access. Formal repayment request. Boundary scripts. Use what you need. I took the packet. "One more thing," he said. "Your active duty. If this starts affecting your work or your clearance, you need to report it to your chain of command. Financial compromise is a security risk." Understood. I left the office with a plan. And for the first time in 6 months, I felt something other than tired. The escalation started that afternoon. 13:12, text from Dad. "I don't know what's going on, but the bank says I can't access the account anymore. There's been a mistake. Call me." I didn't respond. 14:05, text from Mom. "We're worried about you. This isn't like you. Are you okay?" Still nothing. 15:20, text from Mallory. "Why are you being weird? Dad says you blocked him from your bank account? That's so dramatic." I took a screenshot. 16:47, call from unknown number. I answered. It was my aunt. My mother's sister. "Honey, your mom called me. She's really upset. She says you're not talking to them." "What happened?" "I'm handling some personal business," I said. My voice was calm. Flat. "Well, they're your family. You know they love you. Your dad is just trying to help Mallory get on her feet. You've always been the strong one. You don't need the money like she does. There it was. The identity weapon. I appreciate your concern, I said. But this is between me and them. Sweetheart, don't be stubborn. You know how your dad gets. Just call him back. I have to go. Take care. I hung up. Took another screenshot. 1803. Text from Mallory. Okay, seriously, what is your problem? Mom is crying. You're being so selfish right now. I stared at that one for a full minute. Selfish. I'd paid for her medical bill. Co-signed her loan without being asked. Sent money for her wedding. Flown home on my own dime. Smiled in photos. Kept quiet when they forgot my promotion. Listened to hours of wedding stress while no one asked about my deployment. Selfish. I typed, we'll talk soon. I need some space right now. She replied immediately, space from what? You're never even here. I turned my phone off. 1920, the public smear. I turned my phone back on at evening chow. 17 notifications. Instagram. Facebook. A group text with extended family I hadn't opened in years. I clicked Instagram first. Mallory had posted a story. The text read, when your sister decides she's too good for family, broken heart, pray for us. Comments were already rolling in. Aunt Carol, what happened? Cousin Jenna, oh no. Sending love. Family friend Deb, family is everything. Hope you guys work it out. I clicked Facebook. My mother had posted in a mom's group. Please keep my family in your thoughts. My daughter is going through something and has cut us off. We're heartbroken and don't understand. If you have advice on how to reach an adult child who won't communicate, I'd appreciate it. 42 comments. All sympathetic. I took screenshots of both. Then I opened the extended family group text. Uncle Ron, hey kiddo, heard there's some tension. Wanna grab coffee and talk? Cousin Beth, families fight. Don't let it get too big. Life's short. Grandma Diane, I don't know what's going on, but I love you both. Call your mother. I read every message. No one asked my side. No one said, what happened? They'd already decided. I was the one in the wrong. I sat in my car in the parking lot outside the galley and felt the rage rise clean and cold. Not hot. Not messy. Surgical. I went back to my apartment, a small one-bedroom off-base that I kept meticulously clean because chaos at work meant I needed order at home. I made tea. Sat at my kitchen table. Opened my laptop. I drafted a post. Revised it 4 times. Showed it to 2 friends, both prior service, both people who dealt with family financial abuse. They read it. Suggested 2 edits. Told me to breathe before I posted. I breathed. Then I posted. September 28, 2024. I've received a lot of messages in the last 24 hours, so I want to address this once, clearly, and then move forward. Over the past 6 months, $7,450 was transferred from my bank account to my parents' account without my knowledge or explicit consent. I discovered this 2 days ago. When I attempted to secure my finances, I was met with anger, deflection, and public blame. I also learned I was listed as a cosigner on a $23,000 auto loan I did not agree to cosign. I found out through a credit check after unauthorized transfer attempts were flagged by my bank. I am not cutting off my family. I am protecting myself financially while I sort through what happened. I have not been dramatic. I have been silent while I gathered facts. I love my family. But love does not mean unlimited access to my income, my credit, or my peace. I will not be responding to public posts, indirect messages, or requests to just talk it out until I have legal clarity and emotional space. If you've reached out with genuine concern, thank you. I'm okay. If you've reached out to pressure me into reconciling before I'm ready, please respect my boundary. I will not be discussing this further on social media. Attached images. Screenshot of bank transfers with dates and amounts, account numbers redacted. Screenshot of auto loan cosign documentation with my forged signature circled. Notary date proved I was deployed and couldn't have signed in person. Screenshot of Mallory's Instagram story, when your sister decides she's too good for family. Screenshot of my mother's Facebook post, my daughter has cut us off. Final line. I served my country. I've earned my rank. I will not apologize for expecting my family to treat me with the same respect I've always shown them. I posted it at 20:43. I closed my laptop. I didn't look at my phone for 2 hours. When I finally checked, the post had 63 comments. Chief Martinez, former supervisor, proud of you for standing up for yourself. This took guts. College roommate Anna, holy shit. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Random coworker Steve, damn. Respect. Cousin Beth, I think there's more to this story. Aunt Carol, this is between you and your parents. Airing it publicly is hurtful. Family friend Deb, comment deleted. Uncle Mark, Dad's brother, I didn't know the whole story. I'm sorry for pushing you to reconcile before hearing your side. That loan thing is not okay. That last one surprised me. I kept scrolling. Mallory had commented, "You're really going to do this? Publicly? You've always been jealous." My mother had shared the post in a private group with the caption, "I don't even recognize her anymore." My father hadn't commented. But 15 minutes after I posted, he'd tried to call. For times. The next morning, I woke to an email from my mother. Subject, we need to talk. Body. I don't know what you think you're accomplishing with this, but you've humiliated us. Your father is devastated. Mallory is in tears. You've made us look like criminals in front of everyone we know. We helped Mallory because she needed it. You've always been fine. You have a good job, no debt, no responsibilities. She's starting a life. She needed support. The money we borrowed, and yes, we should have asked, but you were deployed and we didn't want to bother you, was always going to be paid back. We were going to tell you. You didn't give us a chance. The loan was a miscommunication. Mallory's fiancé thought you'd agreed. It was a clerical error. You're making this so much bigger than it is. We're family. You don't sue family. You don't humiliate family. If you want to talk, we're here. But if you're going to keep punishing us, then I don't know what else to say. We love you. I hope you remember that. I read it twice. Noted what was missing. An apology. Acknowledgement of the forgery. A repayment plan. Accountability. I forwarded it to my attorney. Then I replied, I'm willing to meet in person, in a neutral location, with a mediator or witness present. I will not discuss this over text, email, or phone. Let me know if you're willing to do that. If not, all further communication goes through my attorney. I hit send. The meeting happened a week later. Panera Bread. Saturday morning. 0900. I arrived first. Ordered a coffee. Sat in a corner booth with my back to the wall. They arrived together. My father, my mother, and Mallory. I hadn't expected Mallory. She looked tired. Her engagement ring caught the light. She didn't meet my eyes. We sat. No one spoke for 10 seconds. Finally, my father cleared his throat. So, here we are. Here we are, I echoed. My mother folded her hands on the table. I don't know where to start. Start with the truth, I said. Silence. Then my father leaned forward. We made mistakes. I'll admit that. We should have asked before moving money. That's on me. And the loan. He hesitated. That was a misunderstanding. Mallory's fiancé thought you'd agreed. The dealership screwed up the paperwork. My signature was forged, I said. Quiet. Even. Mallory flinched. We didn't forge anything, my mother said quickly. That's a serious accusation. The notary date was June 12th. I was underway. In the Pacific. I have watched logs. No one responded. I took a sip of coffee. Let the silence stretch. Then I asked the killshot question. Tell me one thing you're proud of me for. Specifically. One accomplishment. One moment. One thing I did that you celebrated the way you celebrate Mallory. My mother blinked. Sweetheart, we're proud of you. You know that. Name it. Silence. Your commissioning, my father tried. You didn't come to my commissioning. You said it was too far and Mallory had a concert. More silence. Mallory was crying now. Quiet, mascara-streaked tears. I didn't know, she whispered. I swear I didn't know about the money. Dad said you were helping. He said you offered. I looked at her. Really looked. She believed it. She'd been told a story where I was the generous big sister, and she'd never questioned it. Did you ever ask me? I said. Soft. Not cruel. She shook her head. Did you ever wonder why I stopped coming home? Another shake. I turned back to my parents. Here's what happens now. You repay the $7,450. Payment plan is fine. I want it in writing. You remove my name from the car loan, or you pay it off in full within 6 months. If you default, I'm pursuing legal action. That's not, my father started. I'm not done. He stopped. You don't post about me on social media. You don't tell people I'm estranged or dramatic or ungrateful. If someone asks, you say we're working through something privately. You don't pull other family members into this. You don't use Mallory as a go-between. My mother's jaw tightened. And I said, you don't contact me unless I reach out first. No calls. No texts. No surprise visits. When I'm ready to talk, I'll let you know. You're really going to do this, my father said. His voice cracked. I already did. I stood. Wait, Mallory said. Please. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I should have asked. I should have. I know, I said. And I meant it. But you're not the one I'm angry at. I looked at my parents one last time. I served my country. I earned my rank. I deserve a family that sees me. If you can't do that, then we don't have anything else to talk about. I walked out. I didn't look back. 3 months later, I got a cashier's check for $7,450. No note. The car loan was refinanced out of my name 6 weeks after that. Mallory sent me a text in November. I broke off my engagement. I'm moving out. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I didn't reply right away. But I did eventually. We got coffee in December. Awkward. Tentative. She cried twice. I didn't. We're not close yet. But we're talking. My parents and I haven't spoken since Panera. My mother sent a Christmas card. It said, "We love you. We hope you'll come home someday." I didn't respond. I don't know if I will. I got promoted to full lieutenant in January. I framed the certificate. Hung it in my living room. I started therapy in February. Found someone who specializes in military transitions and family estrangement. I opened a high-yield savings account. Started an investment portfolio. Made a budget that doesn't include emergency transfers. I went on a trip to Japan in March. Solo. Paid for it in cash. I slept well for the first time in years. Here's what I learned. Being the reliable one doesn't mean being the doormat. Being strong doesn't mean you're not allowed to break. Your rank, your job, your income, your life, they're yours. Not negotiable. Not up for family vote. You can love people and still refuse to be used by them. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away and build a life they can't touch. Love without respect isn't love. It's obligation. And I don't owe anyone that. If you've been the strong one, the reliable one, the one everyone leans on but no one checks on, this is your permission slip to stop. Set the boundary. Pull the plug. Protect yourself. You don't owe anyone access to your peace. If your family has ever minimized your career, borrowed money without asking, or made you feel guilty for saying no, drop a comment. Let me know I'm not alone in this. And if this story helped you feel seen, hit subscribe. There are more stories like this. More truths people don't want to say out loud. But I'll say them. Because someone has to.